afternoon, everyone. Yeah, hello, Sunny. Good afternoon, Ritesh Kumar. After a long time, yes. Am I audible and visible to all of you guys? Hello, my dear friends. Am I audible and visible to all of you? Sure. Thank you for that. Now, in this session, according to our schedule, my dear friends, according to our schedule in this session, we have to actually do the thorax topic. So we are actually going to begin with the thorax topic in this session here. Okay. So हम लोग इस session में thorax topic हम लोग start करेंगे. We are going to begin with this one, and we'll follow according to the schedule, like whatever topics are there. And by 31st of December, by this month end, as I have been telling you, the entire anatomy will be done. So whatever classes were not done even yesterday, also don't worry about that one. Okay, those classes will be already rescheduled, and everything, all the entire anatomy will be done by the end of this month. By 31st, it will be done. Okay. So shall we get started? Are you all ready? Biochemistry, Shruti, biochemistry will be done in January. January biochemistry will be done, Shruti. Anything else to be sorted out? Okay, thank you. Welcome. So I think in the last classes, if you remember, we have completed like upper limb topic and the lower limb topic, and even the general embryology was done, and even the systemic embryology was done, guys. Okay, lower limb 3, yes, Amish Sheikh. In the middle of the class, I think there was some power cut or something like that, and it will be done. That's what I said, Nasrini. Like whatever classes has not been done yesterday or day before yesterday, whatever, all those classes will be rescheduled, and I'm telling you, entire anatomy will be done before 31st. Okay, before 30, or we can say by 31st of December. Okay, before your new year begins, your entire anatomy will be surely done. So in the coming 4-5 days, get it ready. Your remaining entire anatomy will be completed. Whatever it might be, whether it is lower limb 3 or 18th December classes, whatever it might be, entire anatomy will be completed by 31st. That is for sure. Okay. And now in this session, we are going to do thorax topic. We are going to begin with the thorax topic. I will tell you some important topics today about the thorax. And after that, I think we're having one more session lined up at 4 p.m. also. And in that session, we're going to begin with neuroanatomy, guys. And that is extremely important. You people have to attend that properly. So we'll begin with the neuroanatomy from 4 p.m. onwards. Okay. So chaliye, sir, without any further delay, let's get started with the thorax topic. See, in the thorax topic, the very first thing that you have to study will be the thoracic wall, guys. Are you all ready? Like, can you just confirm me? I think I'm taking the class almost after 2 or 3 days, and it might be looking something awkward, and suddenly, chaliye, badhiya. Now, when you're learning about the thorax topic, guys, the first thing that you have to learn is actually the thoracic wall. I'll tell you the approach of the topic, how you're going to approach the topic. So first, we're actually going to learn about the thoracic wall. Now, what do you have in the thoracic wall here? Anteriorly, there will be sternum. Posteriorly, there will be thoracic vertebrae. And laterally, you'll be having actually the ribs. I repeat again, anteriorly sternum, posteriorly vertebrae, and laterally, you'll be having the ribs. Now, after learning about the thoracic wall, then we are going to enter inside the thorax. And inside the thorax, we are going to learn about 2 important organs. One is your heart here, another one will be your lungs, guys. That's a simple planning. So keep this planning in your mind. This is how we are going to approach this topic, sir. So सबसे पहले हम लोग पढ़ेंगे the thoracic wall. First, we are going to learn the thoracic wall. Then we'll enter inside, and then we are going to learn about the 2 important organs there. One is about your heart, another one is about the lungs, guys. Okay. तो चलिए करते हैं शुभ आरंभ. Let's begin right now. So please write on the heading there as thoracic wall. So let's start the topic from the scratch. So first, let us learn about the thoracic wall, guys. In the thoracic wall, anteriorly you'll be having what, guys? Anteriorly there will be sternum, and then posteriorly what do you have, guys? Posteriorly you'll be having vertebrae. That is your thoracic vertebrae. And laterally there'll be ribs present, guys. Laterally you'll be having ribs. So that is there in the thoracic wall. Anteriorly sternum, posteriorly thoracic vertebrae, and laterally you'll be having ribs. Now what you have to do is, about all the 3 of them, you got to learn, like, whatever few points are important, you have to learn, guys. So first, let's begin with the sternum. Okay, so सबसे पहले हम लोग ना ये sternum start करते हैं. Let's begin with the sternum, guys. So write on the heading there as sternum. And I hope every student knows that sternum is an example of a flat bone. Sternum, it's actually an example of a flat bone. Okay, it's a flat bone. And not only that, the sternum will consist of 3 parts. There are totally like 3 parts in the sternum. And every student knows that number 1, there will be mammalian sternum. And number 2, there will be body of the sternum. And number 3, there will be xiphoid process, guys. There will be a xiphoid process. So starting 5 minutes, I want all of you to get into the mood of studying. So it might look very simple to you, but guys, just be along with me. As the topic will go on, moving ahead, it'll be becoming like more and more complicated. Okay? So as usual, hamesha ki tarah, as our planning as always, we are going to start from the scratch, and then we'll go to the higher topics, guys. Okay? So sternum has got how many parts? 3 parts. Number 1, mammalian, number 2, body, and number 3 will be the xiphoid process. Who doesn't know about that one? So this is mammalian here, this is the body of the sternum here, and this will be the xiphoid process. Now, sir, why are you teaching this one, sir? Is there any question asked here? Yes, of course. I will tell you what was the question asked in your exam. Please draw a small diagram here. This is the mammalian sternum here, and this will be the body of the sternum, and this is your xiphoid process. The joint between the mammalian sternum and the body of the sternum, this joint is referred to as sternal angle. It is known as the sternal angle of Louis. The joint between the mammalian sternum and the body of the sternum, that joint is actually referred to as sternal angle of Louis. Now the question that has been already asked in your exam is, yes, we all know ribs will come and join here, and all your ribs will come and join to your sternum there. And out of all that ribs, my dear friends, remember, or can you please tell me which rib will be attached right at the sternal angle? That was the question already asked in the exam. Come on. Can anyone tell me like which rib is joining right at the sternal angle? Very good. It is the costal cartilage of second rib. It is the costal cartilage of second rib will be joining right at the sternal angle of the Louis. If you don't trust me, let me show you here the diagram. So this is the first rib here, and this one will be the second rib, and the second rib, this is the costal cartilage, and that is joining right at the sternal angle of Louis. Perfectly done. So that is the important, 1 or 2 important points to be remembered. Everyone knows it is a flat bone. Everyone knows the 3 parts, but just update your knowledge there. Second rib will be joining at the sternal angle of the Louis. That has been already asked in your exam. Done. More than enough, sir. इससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं पढ़ना है. Nothing more to learn beyond this one about the sternum. Now, once we're done with the sternum, nothing to worry about the thoracic vertebrae, guys. How many thoracic vertebrae do you have? Just tell me the number. In total, how many thoracic vertebrae do you have? There'll be 12. Very good. There'll be 12 thoracic vertebrae. But you have to learn a lot regarding the ribs, guys. In total, there'll be how many ribs, guys? There'll be totally 12 pairs of the ribs. There'll be totally how many ribs? 12 pairs of the ribs. And you have to learn in detail about the ribs, guys. So चलिए start करते हैं. Let us learn in detail about the ribs. Write down the heading as ribs in the center of the page. There are totally 12 ribs, 12 pairs of ribs, I should say. All these 12 pairs of the ribs, they're divided into two categories. Number one, you'll be having like true ribs, and number two, you'll be having false ribs. There'll be true ribs and false ribs. Now, out of these 12 pairs, how many will be true ribs? Like 1 to 7 pairs will be the true ribs, and then the false ribs will be 8 to 12, guys. Remaining 8 to 12 will be false ribs. Please concentrate and focus on the numbers. They'll be asking you numbers here. Is it okay? So, in total, the ribs will be 12 pairs, and out of the 12 pairs, 1 to 7 pair will be the true ribs, and then 8 to 12 will be your false ribs, guys. Done. So, what is the difference between these true ribs and the false ribs? To make you understand the difference, let us draw the diagram, guys. Let's draw the diagram to understand the difference between the true ribs and false ribs. Mandibular sternum, and this here will be the body of the sternum, and then, my dear friend, this will be the xiphoid process. Sternum is actually in the front here. Sternum यहाँ पर आगे होता है, सामने होता है. What do you have behind it? Behind it, you're having the vertebrae, thoracic vertebrae. I'm not drawing the exact diagram of the vertebrae. For now, you just remember that is your thoracic vertebrae. That's the thoracic vertebrae behind. And my dear doctors, what is going to happen here? Right from the vertebrae behind, the rib is going to take a turn and come and join with the sternum. The rib will take a turn and join with the sternum. So from here, the rib will actually take a turn and then come and join with the sternum. Now, how it is joining with the sternum, guys? Not the bony part of the rib. It is joining the sternum with the help of a piece of cartilage. What is the name given to this cartilage here? This is known as the costal cartilage. Okay, that's your costal cartilage. But my question to you people is that in our body, all the cartilages are actually divided into how many types? 3 types. I think you have learned about that one. Hyaline cartilage, elastic cartilage, and you'll be having the fibrous cartilage. Hyaline, elastic, and fibrous cartilage. Can anyone tell me costal cartilage comes under which category? Is it like hyaline? Is it elastic cartilage, or is it like fibrous cartilage? Yes, very good, Tushar. Costal cartilage is actually an example of your hyaline cartilage. And don't worry about that one. I will teach you about all the cartilages, joints, and everything in general anatomy class, guys, which is scheduled in a couple of days. Don't worry about that. So this is your rib number 1 joining here. So basically, what is happening? The rib is going to begin from where? It's going to begin from your vertebrae behind, and then the rib is going to take a turn and come and join with the sternum here. And exactly the same thing will happen right from rib number 1 up to the rib number 7. Exactly the same thing will happen right from rib number 1 to rib number 7. So they're going to begin from the vertebrae behind, and then they'll come in the front and get attached to what is sternum. And all these ribs which are getting attached to sternum are said to be true ribs. Wow, crystal clear concept. Okay. So what is the meaning of true ribs? The true ribs will be starting from the vertebrae. That is why vertebro. And they are coming and getting attached to what is sternum. That is why sternal. So they can also be called as vertebro-sternal ribs, guys. They can also be called as vertebro-sternal ribs. Vertebro-sternal ribs. Beautiful. Perfect. Then what about the false ribs, sir? The false ribs are actually 8 to 12, and they can be in turn divided into 2 categories here. Rib number 8, 9, and 10 in one category, and 11th and 12th in another category, guys. So why like this? Welcome here. Rib number 8 is also going to begin from where? Vertebrae only. See, all the ribs are starting from there only. But what is going to happen? That rib number 8 will come anteriorly, but its costal cartilage will be actually attached to the costal cartilage of 7th rib. It is not attached to the sternum directly. Rib number 9 will also come anteriorly, and its costal cartilage will be attached to the 8th one. Rib number 10 will also come anteriorly, and its costal cartilage will be attached to the 9th one. Oh, that is the story about the rib number 8, and then 9, and then 10. Okay. So they are going to begin from where? They're going to begin from the vertebrae behind, and then they will take a turn, come anteriorly. But after coming anteriorly, their costal cartilage is attached to the previous rib. So 8th one will be attached to the 7th one, 9th will be attached to the 8th one, and the 10th one will be actually attached to the 9th one, guys. Are you understanding me? अब आप मुझे ये बताइए इनका नाम क्या होना चाहिए? What should be the name of these 3 ribs? 8th, 9th, and 10th. इनका नाम क्या होना चाहिए? They are going to begin from the vertebrae behind. That is why again what is vertebro. But anteriorly, are they coming and getting attached to sternum? No, sir, they are not attaching to sternum. So they are attaching to what? Cartilage. Cartilage. And what is another name of the cartilage? Another name of the cartilage is chondrus. It is chondrus. So therefore, it is vertebrochondral ribs. Vertebrochondral ribs, guys. Okay? Are you getting me, Amish, here? It's easy, guys. Nothing difficult. Nothing some great science here. Thoda sa have some little bit of patience. Don't try to rush. Okay? Aram se, coolly, you can do it. Nothing to mug up also. There are totally 12 pairs of ribs. 1 to 7 will be vertebro-sternal. They are true ribs. 8th, 9th, and 10th are vertebrochondral. Starting from the vertebrae, getting attached to the cartilage. Chondral. And 11th and 12th, I don't have to teach to my students. They are like expert. 11th and 12th are very famous, and they are your floating ribs. So why are you calling it as floating ribs here? Why? Because flying? Wait, Amish, flying name floating ribs. They are floating ribs actually. Now why are we calling them as floating ribs? Why? Because they are actually going to begin from the vertebrae only, but they are neither attached to the sternum nor to the cartilage. Their ends will actually remain free. Floating ribs. Done. So ये table आपके mind में होना चाहिए. They'll be asking you questions regarding the numbers. Take care about that. Okay, bachcho, are you clear here? So this is what will be the entire thing regarding the ribs, guys. Chalo, badhiya. So basically, what I'm trying to tell you here, or what I'm trying to teach you here, yes, there are so many people who have joined us, a little bit later. So my dear friends, our main strategy. Yes, thank you, Manish. Our main strategy of learning thorax, or how to approach thorax topic. Don't learn randomly this topic, that topic, and all. We are going to first learn the thoracic wall. And after learning the thoracic wall, we are going to enter inside. Inside, you're having two organs, heart and the lungs. Is it okay? That is our strategy here. Okay. अरे बाप रे, ये नाम क्या है भाई? Denning Shah. Am I telling correctly? Denning Shah. I think I'm pronouncing your name correctly there. First class today. Don't worry. We are actually starting with the thorax topic here. Hope you're understanding. Are you understanding, Denning Shah? भाई आपका नाम कुछ सिंपल वाला बोल दो यार. ये Denning Shah. चलो सर. Oh deep. Welcome. Yeah sir, Dr. Yasir Deep. चलिए, welcome sir. So welcome on board everyone. And this is like even my first class after so many days. Actually, I had to take a break of 2-3 days in the middle because of some very urgent and very important works. So now look here, sir. Next another 4-5 days, your entire anatomy will be done, sir. 31st, and after that we'll have nice new year and hoping something good in 2021. All this should finish. है ना? चलिए sir. So how to approach the thorax topic? Did you all understand here? Hello, my dear doctors. Whoever are attending my class for the first time today, don't worry. We are not at all starting somewhere from the middle. We are actually starting from the beginning only. This is the first topic of thorax. Look at Amir Sheikh. So new strains of coronavirus have been found and they are also ready for the new year. देखा जाएगा जो भी होगा जिंदगी में. हाँ जी. So this is the first hot topic of thorax. All the people who are attending the first class, don't worry. थोड़ा सा ना it will be like a good session for you for 2 hours. थोड़ा सा warm up हो जाएगा. Why? Because from 4 o'clock onwards we are going to start with neuroanatomy. Okay. So get set ready, warm up yourself and get acclimatized to the entire system now. Okay. So thorax topic कैसे पढ़ी जाए? How to study the thorax topic? Anteriorly sternum, posteriorly thoracic vertebrae, and then laterally ribs. And just now we have completed the sternum and the vertebrae and the ribs. Whatever topics or whatever points you have to know for your exam, completed sir, in detail. Okay. Now I'm not going to leave you here. Let's go in depth. In between the ribs, you'll be having space, and that space is known as what, guys? Intercostal space. ठीक है ना? In the thoracic wall only, in between the ribs, you'll be having a space, and that space is known as what, guys? Intercostal space. अब start होता है real story. After all this introduction here, now starts the real topic. Let's go in depth. And from here onwards, I want all of you to be like fully concentrating here, sir. सब लोग यहाँ पर मस्त में concentrate कीजिए. First, I'll explain you, then we'll write down the notes, sir. So please completely stop writing there. Completely stop writing and just look at the screen here, sir. In this diagram, you're able to see the thoracic wall, and in this thoracic wall, you're able to see many intercostal spaces. Out of all the intercostal spaces, one of the space we are actually going to zoom. And once you zoom that, this one is your upper rib here, and this is the lower rib here, and between the two ribs, this will be the intercostal space here. Okay, G. And I'm going to make this topic damn easy for you, sir. Just 5 minutes. The entire intercostal space topic, this topic of intercostal space, you can learn that just by 3 points, only 3 points. Only 3 points. Everyone concentrate here, okay? Hello, Yogesh. Only 3 points. How many points? Only 3 points. Intercostal space will be done. Point number 1. You'll be having muscles here, sir. What is this muscle known as? Intercostal muscle, of course. But those intercostal muscles will be of 3 categories. One will be external intercostal muscle. Another one will be the internal intercostal muscle. And another one will be the innermost intercostal muscle, sir. Okay. External, internal, and innermost. External, internal, and innermost. There are 3 intercostal muscles over here. Point number 1. Point number 2, sir. Second point. Where do you have the neurovascular bundle? Where do you have the nerve, artery, and the vein? Yes, it's clearly visible in our diagram here. This is internal intercostal muscle, and this one will be the innermost intercostal muscle. Internal and innermost intercostal muscle. Between them, you will be having your nerve, artery, and the vein. Wow. And number 3, and the last and final point, the third point that you have to learn here is that don't even learn the name of that artery, vein, and the nerve, guys. Why? Because the name is so simple. Intercostal artery, intercostal vein, and intercostal nerve. Don't learn that. No need to learn that. So then what you have to learn? You have to learn the arrangement of that one. Okay. Yes, you can clearly see here. You will be having the intercostal vein and then artery and then nerve. It will be arranged in the form of van. Very good, yes, sir. Very good. It will be in the form of van, above downwards. ऊपर से नीचे. पाइन नीचे किंद वरेको. Is it okay? So ऊपर से नीचे, above downwards, it will be in the form of vein, artery, and the nerve, guys. That's all. बस ये 3 point. Make your life simple in anatomy. Intercostal space. I have to remember just these 3 points, sir. ठीक है? तो चलिए, let's start writing the notes now. Heading लिखो, sir. Please write the heading there. Intercostal space. Number 1, in intercostal space, you have got like intercostal muscle. Intercostal muscles will be actually like 3 categories there. One will be the external intercostal muscle. Another one will be the internal intercostal muscle. And another one will be the innermost intercostal muscle, sir. Innermost intercostal muscle. There will be an external and then internal and then innermost intercostal muscle. There will be 3 of them. But in this, you have to please update your knowledge there. The innermost intercostal muscle is actually in turn made up of 3 muscles. It's not like one single muscle. It's actually 3 muscles together. One muscle will be your below, or I should say like behind the sternum. So therefore, sternocostalis muscle. Another one will be like in front of the vertebrae, subcostalis muscle. Subcostalis muscle. And then in between them, you'll be having intercostalis intimae muscle. Very good, Priya. Intercostalis intimae muscle. Now, you people don't panic. Suddenly, like how many names are you asking to remember? Just go like step by step. As I say in every class, like slowly, baby steps. You already know external, you already know internal, and now innermost is not a single muscle. It is made up of 3 muscles together. And I will tell you the importance of this later on. There is some important clinical application of that. मैं आपको बताऊंगा. ठीक है? Number 2, second one, neurovascular bundle. Neurovascular bundle is between, come on, it is between internal and innermost intercostal muscle. The neurovascular bundle is between what is between the internal and innermost. That is important. Internal and innermost intercostal muscle. And after that, point number 3, what you do is don't write down the notes like paragraph. As I always say, just write down the point number 3 as arrangement of the neurovascular bundle. How is the arrangement? Arrangement will be like above downwards, ऊपर से नीचे, and above downwards it is in the form of VAN, VAN. Okay, if you actually remember, if you actually write down the notes like this, my dear friends, remember you will appreciate it a lot at the just near the exam. Before the exam you have to do revision, and rapidly you have to do the revision. Or अगर मान लो, if you write down the notes, all your notes like paragraph, you cannot revise the entire anatomy like rapidly. That's the best way to write down. So you will appreciate that just before your June exam. So probably in June you'll be having your next FMC exam, and at that time you'll appreciate that. Just turn the page. Okay. So the nerve artery and vein are between internal and innermost one. Just simple 1 point. Internal and innermost one. And what's the arrangement? Above downward. Above downwards V and man. Understanding how to write down? Yes. Now, in all the intercostal spaces, it is in the form of van, except for the first one. Except the first intercostal space. And in the first intercostal space, then sir, what is the arrangement? You just have to make it opposite of that one, guys. There will be nerve and then artery and vein. Just uska na ulta kar do bas. The vein, artery, and the nerve will become the nerve, artery, and the veins. हो गया, done. That's all. Only the 3. As I promised you, only these 3 points to learn, sir. Done and done and done, guys. ठीक है? बस ये 3 point आपको सीखना होगा. Now it is always better to draw one small diagram here. So please start drawing a diagram along with me. Imagine this one to be your upper rib. We are drawing in the same section there. And imagine this one to be the lower rib, sir. There'll be upper rib and then there'll be lower rib. And then between the 2 ribs, there'll be external intercostal muscle, internal intercostal muscle, and then there will be innermost intercostal muscle. I repeat again, this will be external intercostal muscle, and then there will be internal intercostal muscle, and then you'll be having your innermost intercostal muscle. Between them, first you'll be having the vein there, and then you'll be having the artery, and then there will be nerve present here. The arrangement is actually in the form of V, A, N, van, above, downwards. Just if you look at the simple, what do you say? The simple diagram here, all the points will be revised. All the points will be revised about the intercostal space. The topic is made simplified in one diagram, sir. Okay. Thank you, Amit Sheikh. Chalo, badhiya, sir. Now, after completing this topic, normally in anatomy, completed, guys. Now, what is the clinical application of this one? Now, it is very much trending. So slowly we are moving towards the USMLE lab and everything pattern there. Okay, where you don't have to just simply mug up all that factual things. You have to know the clinical application of everything. So almost every topic we are going to have a clinical correlation. Welcome, sir. Come on, guys. Now, what is the clinical correlation here? I'll tell you. Once you clear your exam and you start, you're practicing in the hospital or you do your internship or something like that, you will be going to get many cases. Okay, almost on daily basis, you'll be getting the cases of pleural effusion. Do you all know what is pleural effusion? Pleural effusion, sir. Pleural effusion is nothing but the accumulation of fluid, abnormal amount of fluid in the pleural cavity. Lungs will be covered by pleura. Okay, now parietal pleura and then there will be visceral pleura. So between the 2 layers of the pleura, you'll be having accumulation of abnormal amount of fluid, guys. Abnormal amount of fluid. That is pleural effusion. Now what we will be doing in the hospital, हम लोग क्या करते हैं? In the hospital, what we are going to do? We are going to actually put the needle and we are going to aspirate the fluid out. उसको हम कहते हैं pleural tapping. That is known as pleural tapping. Now, sir, why are you telling about that pleural effusion, pleural tapping now? अभी आप ये सब क्यों बता रहे हो? Why is it so important here now? Look here, I will tell you now why is anatomy important for you in clinical practice, guys. Okay, while you are doing the pleural effusion, can you please tell me where are you going to insert the needle? Of course, you are going to insert the needle through the what, guys? Through the intercostal space. So tell me very clearly, will you insert the needle just below the upper rib here, or just above the lower rib? Below the upper rib or above the lower rib? What is the right option, guys? Wow, very good, Priya. Very good, Yasser. Very nice, very nice. Above the lower rib. And this is the wrong way. And don't think that I am asking this one here. Already this question has been asked in your exam, guys. Already the question has been asked in the exam. So during pleural effusion, when you are going to insert the needle has to be inserted just above the lower rib. Just above the lower rib. And if now someone asks you why it is like that, you will be able to answer very confidently. Why? Because in anatomy, Azam sir has taught that just below the upper rib there is a neurovascular bundle. यहाँ पर neurovascular bundle होता है. If you insert the needle here, there are chances of damaging this neurovascular bundle. So no. The better option will be insert the needle just above the lower rib, guys. Just above the lower rib. Okay. So please write down there as applied aspect. Very good, Vikram. Applied aspect, sir. क्या बात है? अब समझ में आ रहा है क्यों पढ़ा रहा था मैं आपको? So point number 1 you write down there. Okay. In pleural tap, pleural tapping. In pleural tap, needle has to be inserted just above the lower rib. The needle has to be inserted just above the lower rib, guys. Just above the lower rib. That is the right thing. Number 2, second point here. If you people allow me, then only I'll go in a little bit more depth, sir. Do you want to go a little bit in more depth? नहीं sir, यहाँ तक काफी है. Till here it is okay. What do you want me to do? Shall we go a little bit in more depth? तो चलिए. With all your permission, हम एक काम करते हैं. So I'll actually ask the question to you people first of all. Can you please tell me when you're inserting the needle? आप जब needle insert कर रहे हो ना? When you're inserting the needle, can you people please tell me that it's going to cross through which muscles one by one? No. When you're going to insert the needle is going to cross through which muscles one by one? Come on. Subcostal muscle, intercostal muscle. Sorry, बाप रे. समझ में आ रहा है आपको? तो इसीलिए मैंने आपको ना ये पूछा था. Oh, sternocostal also. That's the reason why I asked you, okay, shall we go a little bit in more depth or not? Even this question has been asked. So when you're inserting the needle there, it's going to cross through when by one which muscle, guys? चलिए देखते हैं sir. And that too, I'm going to teach you this one also with the help of a diagram. Okay, images are very much important here. So imagine this one to be the vertebral body, the body of the vertebra, guys. And then you have that, the processes, the spinous process and the transverse process like this. Thoracic vertebrae. Sir, why is this vertebra looking like this? Why? Because we are drawing in transverse section. So posteriorly thoracic vertebrae and anteriorly be having what, guys? Anteriorly you'll be having your sternum here. मान लो कि ये वाला आपका sternum. Are you understanding my diagram here? I'm not at all showing you the diagram of the sternum from the front. It's actually in the transverse section there. So posteriorly vertebrae, anteriorly sternum. Now there will be a muscle known as external intercostal muscle. Okay, and then you have got the internal intercostal muscle. Okay, and I told you these two are actually like a single muscle, so one complete muscle. So this one is your external here, and this one is your internal intercostal muscle here. But what about the innermost intercostal muscle? Innermost intercostal muscle is not like one single muscle. It's actually a combination of three muscles together. So there is one muscle here, just behind the sternum, we can say, and that is sternocostalis. There'll be one muscle over here, just in front of the vertebrae, that is subcostalis. And then between these two, you'll be having one more, and this one will be your intercostalis intimae. Let us write down the name, guys. Just behind the sternum, sternocostalis. Just in front of the vertebrae here, this one is your subcostalis muscle. And then right in between them, you'll be having what? Intercostalis intimae. Intercostalis intimae muscle. And all these three together, it will be your innermost intercostal muscle. That is innermost intercostal muscle, sir. So external, internal, and innermost. I think now you're getting much more clarity, guys. You're getting like much more clarity now. Okay, why did sir write down in the beginning of the class? Okay, innermost is made up of three parts. Yes, this is how they're arranged. Wow, much more clarity. Now, apart from that, remember one more thing. Yes, when I taught you about the upper limb topic, I taught you there's one muscle which is attached to the thoracic wall. There's a muscle attached to the thoracic wall, and that muscle will be actually your serratus anterior muscle, sir. Here. You remember boxer's muscle? So serratus anterior muscle or boxer's muscle will be actually attached to the thoracic wall. The upper 8 ribs will be actually attached, guys. Wow. So now the answer. Now listen very, very carefully. Now you are going to do pleural tapping. Suppose you have cleared your FMG exam, and after clearing your FMG exam, for example, today you are in the hospital, and right in front of you there is a patient suffering with pleural effusion, accumulation of the fluid in the pleural cavity. And what you are going to do, you are going to do pleural tapping. And when you are going to do the pleural tapping, take the needle and then insert the needle, guys. Okay. अब आप मुझे ये बताओ. First of all, you tell me one thing. Pleural tapping will be done along which line? Will it be done along the midclavicular line here, or will it be done along the mid-axillary line here, or along the paravertebral line? Will you do the pleural tapping here, or will you do the pleural tapping here? कहाँ पर करोगे? Yes, of course. Very good, very good, Navindu. It will be done along the mid-axillary line यहाँ पर. तो यार थोड़ा सा ना common sense apply करो. So if you are going to do along the mid-axillary line, of course here, है ना? Are you getting me, Navindu? So definitely you are going to do along here. So first you are going to cross through which muscle? That is serratus anterior muscle, and then external intercostal muscle, and then internal intercostal muscle. And don't say innermost. It's not innermost one completely. It's actually only the intercostalis intimae muscle. I hope you're now getting me very, 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 very clearly, guys. So when you're going to insert the needle, okay, just for the sake of understanding, if I draw it like this here. So during pleural tapping, when you're inserting the needle, the number one muscle that you're going to cross is serratus anterior. Number two, external intercostal muscle. Number three, internal intercostal muscle. And number four will be intercostalis intimae muscle. Intercostalis intimae muscle, sir. Don't say innermost one. Intercostalis intimae muscle. So all these are the four muscles going to be, crossed whenever you're doing the pleural tapping. I hope it is crystal clear concept here. Is it okay? It is crystal clear concept here. Done, guys. It can't be much more clear than this one. Any doubts, please let me know, sir. That completes the entire topic of intercostal space. Chalo bachcho, any doubt, let me know. Then we'll go ahead. नहीं सर. यहाँ पर ना कालीन भैया है और ना कालीन भैया के पिताजी है. कोई नहीं है यहाँ पर. मैं हूँ, बस मैं हूँ अकेला. और मेरी वाली चेयर वो वाली चेयर नहीं है, वो आगे पीछे होने वाली. Are you done? Here. So we are done with the intercostal space here. Intercostal space topic completed, and along with that topic, I told you even the clinical correlation here. Achha, by the way, we all know that the pleural tapping will be done along which line, sir? Yes, it is done along the mid-axillary line. And along with that, yes, can you please tell me in which space, which intercostal space you are going to insert the needle? You can insert the needle from 7th to 9th intercostal space. Yes, very good, Navindu. Intercostal space from 7th to 9th, you can insert the needle along the mid-axillary line, sir. That is the place where you are going to do the pleural tapping. Kya baat hai? Crystal clear concept, guys. Okay. Welcome, Roy. But sir. So we are done with the concept of intercostal space as well as we are done with the clinical application here. Yes, as I say in every class, guys, almost in every class I'll be telling all the students, you have to be like really interactive with me. Try to tell me or try to ask me if you have any doubts or something like that, guys. Why? Because I love to interact in my classes. I can't simply keep on teaching myself here. मैं पढ़ाते जा रहा हूँ ऐसा नहीं हो पाएगा. मुझसे तो बिल्कुल नहीं हो पाएगा. हाँ जी. Any doubts still here? Any doubts still here, guys? No doubts. Very good, Yasir. Very nice. Okay, thank you, Tushar. Thank you, Jigisha. Okay, Ritesh. चलिए. And please don't forget about planning, sir. मैं आपको बार-बार कह रहा हूँ. Sir, can I go something serious after? Yes, of course, Mahindra. Rush, bhago. Nothing will happen. This class will be in the recorded format. You can always listen. Okay, bye. Take care. Yes, everyone here now. सब लोग यहाँ पर देखो सर. Sir, please don't forget the entire planning. What is our planning? We are still learning about what is. We are learning about the thoracic wall. We are learning thoracic wall. ठीक है. Sternum done. Vertebrae done. The ribs are also done. In between the ribs, we are even done with the intercostal space. Now we'll go a little bit in more depth, and now we are going to learn about the intercostal artery, intercostal vein, and the intercostal nerve here. I think now you are able to understand the meaning of what I told you in the beginning of the class, that slowly, the topics are going to become like more complicated, guys. The topics are going to become like more and more complicated. समझ रहे हैं? तो चलिए सर, अब हम जाते हैं in some more depth. First we'll learn with the intercostal artery. Let's begin with the intercostal artery now. So everyone do one thing here, write down the heading in your books there. Intercostal arteries. Intercostal arteries, okay? Welcome. Now in this, first of all, I'll explain you here, and then we'll write down the notes, as well as we'll also draw the diagram here, guys. Okay. Now, my dear doctors, look at this diagram here. In this diagram, first of all, posteriorly, I'm able to find the aorta here. Posteriorly, there'll be an aorta, and that aorta will give rise to a branch, and you can clearly see that artery is going here, and yes, the artery is going here. Oh, wow! And you can clearly see that branch or that artery is going between the ribs. When anything is actually going between the ribs, obviously it is intercostal. You know. So, what is the name of that artery, guys? That is your intercostal artery. Aorta will give rise to intercostal artery. ठीक है. अच्छा, not only that, leave that aorta and leave that intercostal artery, come anteriorly. Anteriorly, this one is your sternum. Just adjacent to the sternum, I can see one more artery here. That is your internal thoracic artery. Just adjacent to the sternum here, there will be internal thoracic artery. Adjacent to the sternum, guys, there is internal thoracic artery. And if you see it more closely, that internal thoracic artery will also give rise to a branch, and that artery is going here. Is it okay? So, चलिए मैं थोड़ा सा इसको zoom करता हूँ. So I hope now you're able to see it more clearly. This is internal thoracic artery here, and that is also giving rise to a branch here. That artery is going here, and even that artery is also between the two ribs. And whenever anything is between the two ribs, it is intercostal. Oh my God! Now what I want to actually try to teach you people here that till today, you all know very well there will be intercostal artery. आप सबको पता है कि there will be intercostal artery present, guys. But from today onwards, update your knowledge. There will be two types of intercostal arteries. One will be the posterior intercostal artery, another one will be the anterior intercostal artery, guys. So this one here will be the posterior intercostal artery, and this one here will be the anterior intercostal artery. Let me see how much you're following my class. Can you please tell me posterior intercostal artery will be a branch of? Posterior intercostal artery will be a branch of? Very good, Naveen. Very nice. It is a branch of your aorta. Whereas anterior intercostal artery will be a branch of which one, guys? Come on. Anterior intercostal artery will be a branch of what? Yes, it will be a branch of your internal thoracic artery. Internal thoracic artery. So please update your knowledge now. समझ आ रहा है? तो चलिए सर. First of all, let us write here and let us draw the diagram till here, guys. पहले हम लोग यहाँ तक diagram draw करते हैं. Whatever I explained you, let us draw the diagram till here. So imagine this one to be a sternum here, and this one will be the body of the sternum here, and this will be the default process. And my dear doctors, this one will be your like ribs here. Just don't try to exactly measure my diagram. Okay, sir, where is first rib attached, second rib attached, and all. We all know very well कहाँ पर attach होता है. Just you draw like 2 or 3 ribs there and leave it. And after that, posteriorly, what do you have here? Posteriorly, you have your aorta. Okay, and this aorta will give rise to a branch, and that branch will be the posterior intercostal artery. Posterior intercostal artery. Lovely. And then here you have got your internal thoracic artery. So just adjacent to the sternum, there will be one more artery here. This one will be your internal thoracic artery. And that internal thoracic artery will be giving like a branch. And that branch will be actually your anterior intercostal artery. Kya baat hai, sir? Wow. So whatever I explained you there, everything we wrote here in our diagram here, sir. Okay, crystal clear concept here. Now we all know where are we getting the aorta from. Aorta कहाँ से आ रहा है वो हमको पढ़ने का जरूरत नहीं है. We all know very well. Aorta is actually coming from your heart. Even you also know the chamber also. It is actually coming from the left ventricle of the heart and all. You know? Aorta we don't have to worry about that one. But what about the internal thoracic artery? Yes, as Dr. Sikil is asking here, what about the internal thoracic artery? It's a branch of which one? Of course, Dr. Vikram. Very nice. If you people have attended my previous class, I think in the upper limb topic only I told you, internal thoracic artery will be a branch of your subclavian artery. And that too, subclavian artery, I told you it will be divided into how many parts? 3 parts. That to which part? The first part of subclavian artery. And I told you the first part of subclavian artery will give you how many branches? 3 branches, and those 3 branches are VIT width branches. I told you the mnemonic, remember? VIT width branches. Okay? VIT width branches. I told you very clearly. And my dear doctors, out of that VIT, I stands for what? I stands for your internal thoracic artery. I stands for internal thoracic artery. Did you understand that? I hope you got your answer, Dr. Shakil Pal. Dr. Pal, I hope you got your answer there. Yes. So internal thoracic artery, it's actually a branch of your first part of subclavian artery. And Dr. Pal, don't worry about the remaining branches and all. Why? Because subclavian artery, we are going to learn again once more in what do you say? In head and neck topic, which we are going to actually start from 4 p.m. We'll be actually starting with the neuroanatomy, and then we'll be following up with the head and neck part. So, okay, done. Chalo, yahan tak sab clear hai. Everything is till now everything is very clear. So we know till today that there will be intercostal artery, but in today's class we have updated our knowledge. We now know that there will be 2 types of intercostal artery: posterior intercostal artery and anterior intercostal artery. Posterior intercostal artery. Posterior intercostal artery will be a branch of which one? Aorta. Anterior intercostal artery will be a branch of which one, guys? It's a branch of, yes, internal thoracic artery. Okay, okay, welcome, welcome, Dr. Pal, welcome. No issues. चलो, अब हम क्या करेंगे? Now what we are going to do? We are going to go in more depth now. We are going to learn in detail about the posterior intercostal artery and in detail about the anterior intercostal arteries. We are going to learn in detail about both of them. Come on. So first, what you do is write on the heading there as posterior intercostal artery. First, you write on the heading there as posterior intercostal arteries. And I promise you all, guys, the topic is so simple. The topic is like so easy. Oh my God. Okay, I'll make you learn this topic right now in the class itself. Are you ready? I don't want you to just simply listen here, sir. I want you to learn it now. I don't want you to simply listen that. Learn it now. Learn. Okay. Okay. Are you ready? So first, you tell me here. First, you people tell me here. Okay. In total, how many posterior intercostal arteries do you have, guys? No need of previous knowledge. No need of previous knowledge. No need of previous knowledge. No need of anatomy knowledge, sir. Some common sense only, sir. In total, how many posterior intercostal arteries do you have? Arey baap re. I should say you, Nistil. Dr. Nistil, your answer is like very much a diplomatic answer. Very much you should safe side answer. Achha, every space one will be there. In total, how many will be there, Nistil? In total, how many will be there? Yes, you people are absolutely correct there. There will be 11. Sir, how can you tell there will be like 11 pairs there? Apply common sense. Yeah, ye batao. Tell me here, how many ribs do you have? It's like common sense, sir. No anatomy knowledge, no science knowledge, nothing. How many ribs do you have? 12 pairs. And if there are 12 pairs of the ribs or 12 ribs are there, in between them, how many spaces do you have? You'll be having 11 spaces. That's the reason why in total the posterior intercostal arteries will be 11 pairs. Oh my God. Total number of posterior intercostal arteries will be 11 pairs. Perfectly correct. And yes, my dear friends, out of that 11 pairs of the posterior intercostal arteries, the only one point that you people have to remember is that okay, upper two will be given by superior intercostal artery. So there will be a superior intercostal artery, and that superior intercostal artery will give rise to upper two branches, or I can say upper two posterior intercostal arteries. If the two are removed, then how many remaining there, guys? You'll be remaining totally with the 9 of them. And the lower 9 are the one which are actually given from the aorta. Aorta will give rise to the lower 9 guys. Okay, so that's the only thing that you have to learn here. So what is the point that I'm actually trying to put in your mind? The point that I'm trying to put across is aorta is not going to give you all the posterior intercostal arteries. That's important. Is it okay? So all your 11 pairs are not given from aorta. Are you understanding my intention? What I'm trying to put in your mind? आपको कहाँ पर focus करना है? Where you have to focus exactly that. Aorta is not giving all 11 pairs. Upper 2 are given by superior intercostal artery, and the lower 9 are actually given from the aorta. 9 plus 2, 11, 11 pairs. Our topic completed, sir. Done. We are done with the topic of posterior intercostal artery. Are you all comfortable with this one? Do you have any doubt here? Please let me know. Come on. Come on. No doubt. Chaliye, very good. Okay. Welcome Aishwarya. Welcome Dr. Damesh. Are you clear, Pal? Dr. Pal. Chalo, Dr. Naveen, everyone is perfect with this one. Chaliye, badhiya sir. And aorta we already know, but don't worry about the superior intercostal artery again. I'll tell you, that's also one of the branch coming from your subclavian artery only. ठीक है ना, वहाँ से आ रहा है. चलिए बढ़िया सर. अब हम बढ़ते हैं आगे. Let us go to the next one here. Now let us learn about the anterior intercostal artery. So I'm writing it here only. Anterior intercostal artery. Next topic. And again the same question to you people here. Can you people please tell me in total how many anterior intercostal arteries do you have? In total how many anterior intercostal arteries do you have? 2 in each space, sir. First 6 spaces. अच्छा भैया खतरनाक आंसर यार तुम्हारा. 9 pairs. Ritesh is telling 11 pairs. Nistil is telling from internal thoracic artery. चलो मैं बताता हूँ यहाँ पर. It's very simple. How many? अच्छा ठीक है. It's very simple, guys. How many anterior intercostal arteries do you have? Okay. How many anterior intercostal arteries do you have? It's very simple. कैसे? यहाँ देखो. Just in the beginning of the class only, I told you like floating arteries. Remember floating arteries? Sorry, floating ribs. Extremely sorry. Floating ribs. The 11th and 12th one. 11th and 12th are actually your floating ribs. Why? Because they are not at all attached anywhere. But all the remaining 10 ribs are coming anteriorly and getting attached. Don't worry about where they are getting attached. Okay, I'm not concerned whether they are attaching to sternum or they are attaching to cartilage. No, I'm not worried about that. Just remember that all the 10 pairs are actually coming in the front. All the 10 pairs of ribs are actually coming in the front. 11th and 12th is actually a floating ribs. Uske baare mein bhul jao. Forget about that one. 11th and 12th, you forget about that one. So all the 10 pairs are coming in the front. If the 10 pairs of ribs are coming in the front, if there are 10 ribs, how many spaces will be there in the middle? There will be 9 spaces in the middle. So therefore, in total, how many anterior intercostal arteries will be there, guys? 9 pairs. In total, you have got 9 pairs of anterior intercostal artery. Will you all agree with me? Did you all understand this one? If you understood this one, then only we can go ahead. Awesome, lovely. Now, out of these 9 pairs of anterior intercostal artery, my dear friend, remember, internal thoracic artery will give only the upper 6. I want you all to be like really alert now. Okay, this is sternum here. Just adjacent to the sternum, there will be internal thoracic artery. There will be internal thoracic artery on the other side. That internal thoracic artery will give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Only the upper 6 anterior intercostal arteries. Internal thoracic artery will give the upper 6, guys. After giving that upper 6 anterior intercostal arteries, the internal thoracic artery will end there. वो stop हो जाएगा. And that too, it is ending there by dividing into 2 branches. I want you all to listen very carefully here, guys. It's ending there by dividing into 2 branches. What is the name of those 2 branches? Number 1. One of that will be the superior epigastric artery. superior epigastric artery. Another one will be musculophrenic artery. Superior epigastric artery and musculophrenic artery. And out of these two, musculophrenic artery is the one which will give rise to 7th, 8th, and 9th anterior intercostal artery, guys. So चलिए लिखते हैं. Let us write down here. Internal thoracic artery will end here by dividing into two branches, and those two branches will be number one, musculophrenic artery. Another one will be the superior epigastric artery. Musculophrenic artery and superior epigastric arteries. And out of these two, remember, musculophrenic artery is the one that will actually give rise to the 7th and 8th and 9th anterior intercostal artery. Are you getting me? So upper 6 are given by internal thoracic artery, 7th, 8th, and 9th are given by musculophrenic artery, and kul milakar in total we are getting the 9 pairs of anterior intercostal arteries. Crystal clear. Are you understanding? And I'm sure that 110% I'm sure okay, you will also agree with me. All these things, okay, all these things, if you people write it like a paragraph, you'll go mad. अगर अपना paragraph की तरह लिखते जाओगे, when you study that, okay, 9 pairs, upper 6, lower, you'll go mad. The best way to learn is this diagram, and somehow I'm sure this diagram will get printed in your mindset. This diagram will get like printed in your mind. ठीक है बच्चों? Now, sir, what about the superior epigastric artery? What's the fate of this one? Remember, superior epigastric artery is the one which will continue down here. The superior epigastric artery will continue down into rectus sheath, anterior abdominal wall, and that topic I'll actually teach you in the abdominal topics. So you just write down here, this will continue down as a content of rectus sheath, sir. Wow. This will now continue down as a content of rectus sheath. That's all. That's all about your intercostal artery. Anterior intercostal artery as well as the posterior intercostal artery, their total number, and what are the different names, everything done in one single diagram itself, guys. Any doubt here, sir? This topic is done. यहाँ से चपंडी एम कॉलम में चपंडी एम जपला चलो guys, okay, so now this diagram either you can understand or I can understand, sir. There's a lot behind this diagram here. There's a lot behind this diagram here. Yes, Dr. Pal, superior intercostal artery is also coming from one of the branch of your subclavian artery only. वो भी subclavian से ही आ रहा है, ठीक है? Yes, any more doubts? Feel free to ask any doubt, guys. Okay, I don't want you to have any doubt in it. But the good thing here is that recently MC exam done, and then we also got the results of the MC exam. And after the result, like so many students started messaging me, "Okay, sir, we need your anatomy notes. हमको ना आपका anatomy note चाहिए. हमको anatomy notes चाहिए." Now I don't know what is going on in their minds, but you and me, we know very well. Now you tell me, is it possible to understand this topic from our notes now? Now these are my anatomy notes. I'll just give these notes to the students. बड़े आराम से देखिए भाई ले लो भाई ये notes से पढ़ लो. Now I think now you understand and I understand very well. Okay, can you just learn from these notes? हाँ, notes and yes, आजम सर, both of them are important. दोनों भी चाहिए, है ना रितेश? अब थोड़े स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं, बड़े मासूम से बच्चे होते हैं, बड़े इनोसेंट बच्चे होते हैं, है ना? तो वो सर के नोट्स मिल जाएंगे तो हम पढ़ लेंगे, तो ठीक है फिर पढ़ लो. समझ आ रहा है? No sir, only self made. हाँ, of course, that is the best thing. That is the best thing that actually self made notes are best thing. Okay. डॉक्टर पालिस लगा आजम सर चाहिए. भाई कंट्रोल कंट्रोल आजकल इंडिया में भी लागू है. ओके कौन सा वाला सेक्शन है वो 377 वाला है ना. ऐसी बातें मत किया करो कि आजम सर चाहिए. नो नो आई वांट टू क्लैरिफाई, आई एम स्ट्रेट हियर. आजम सर के एनाटॉमी नोट्स चाहिए, पूरा कंप्लीटली बोला करो. और आजम सर के एनाटॉमी के वीडियोस अटेंड करने, ऐसे बोलो आजम सर चाहिए, मतलब पूरा बदल जाता है. और मैं क्लैरिफाई कर रहा हूं कि आई एम स्ट्रेट हियर. वीडियोस एंड नोट्स ऐसा करो. चलिए सर बढ़िया. एंड आई एम श्योर राइट नाउ, अब मैं तो बिल्कुल आपके साथ में श्योर हूं, आप लोग कंप्लीटली भूल चुके हो कि हम पढ़ क्या रहे थे. व्हाट आर वी लर्निंग? We are learning about the intercostal space, and in the intercostal space you have got the artery, vein, and the nerve. Out of that, we are done with the artery class. Done. And we are done with the arteries, intercostal artery. Everything is done. Now the only thing that is left out is the vein and the nerve. Now let us learn about the intercostal vein now. And intercostal vein is like extremely important, guys. Why? Because in this topic now we are going to learn about azygous vein, hemiazygous vein, accessory hemiazygous vein. All of that we are going to learn, and that is like hot favorite of your MC examiner. तो इसीलिए तो मैं आप लोग के साथ थोड़ा सा वार्तालाप कर रहा था. समझ में आ रहा है बच्चों? Are you all understanding? मेरे प्यारे प्यारे बच्चों, now we are going to learn about the intercostal vein. चलिए. Now intercostal vein, first let me give you the orientation. What are we going to learn? I mean to say planning. Planning is at most important. Planning बहुत important है. ठीक है? तो everyone please stop writing and listen to me here very carefully, sir. ठीक है? Hello, are you all understanding here? पता नहीं यार तुम लोग के माइंड में क्या चल रहा है. मुझे तो ये ना ऑनलाइन क्लास में कुछ समझ में आता नहीं है. मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि मैं ही बोलते जा रहा हूँ. आई एम गोइंग ऑन टेलिंग. तो मेरे हम एक काम करते हैं. विल डू वन थिंग हियर. बिफोर गोइंग अहेड आई वांट टू मेक माय सेल्फ डबल श्योर, डबल कंफर्म. तो आई विल आस्क यू सर्टेन क्वेश्चंस, यू आंसर मी हियर सर. थोड़े से मैं सवाल पूछूंगा आपसे ना, आप लोग मुझे आंसर कीजिए. इन टोटल हाउ मेनी पोस्टीरियर इंटरकॉस्टल आर्टरीज डू यू हैव? इन टोटल हाउ मेनी पोस्टीरियर इंटरकॉस्टल आर्टरीज डू यू हैव? 11 pairs. Upper 2 are given by. Upper 2 are given by. Upper 2 are given by the superior intercostal artery. Very good. Lower 9 are given by. Lower 9 are given by aorta. Absolutely right. Okay. And then in total, how many anterior intercostal arteries do you have, sir? In total, how many anterior intercostal arteries do you have? 9 pairs. Out of that 9 pairs, upper 6 are given by. Upper 6 will be given by internal thoracic artery. That's cool. Nice. Second, internal thoracic artery. And then internal thoracic artery is ending by dividing into two branches there. One of the branch will be superior intercostal artery. Another one will be musculophrenic. Very good. Very good. Very good. Videshi. 7th, 8th, and 9th. 7th, 8th, and 9th. 7th, 8th, and 9th. Anterior intercostal artery is a branch of musculophrenic artery. That's nice. That's nice. Superior epigastric artery will continue as a content of. Superior epigastric artery will continue down as a content of. It is going to continue as a content of your rectus sheath. It's going to continue as a content of rectus sheath, guys. Lovely. Okay, bachcho. What is the arrangement of the neurovascular bundle in intercostal space? In intercostal space, what is the arrangement of neurovascular bundle? Above downwards. When? Except for which intercostal space? Except for the first one. And in the first one, what is the arrangement there? In the first one, what is the arrangement there, guys? There it is, ulta, opposite nerve artery and the vein. Perfectly done, guys. Which are true ribs? Quickly, come on. Which are true ribs? 1 to 7. Very nice. Which are false ribs? False ribs are? Yes, 8 to 12 will be the false ribs. In that, which are floating ribs? Sir? Floating ribs will be 11th and 12th one. Very good. That's a really nice of you people. Okay? Chaliye. So whatever we have learned in the last 1 hour, everything you people are like perfect. You are able to answer like every question there. I'm really happy. So chaliye sir, अब हम बढ़ते हैं आगे. Intercostal vein. First 2 minutes I'll explain you here, and you're not going to write anything. Please drop your pen, sit back, relax, enjoy the concept here. पहले concept समझो आराम से. First try to listen to the concept very carefully. Now, my dear doctors, remember, just now our last topic was about the intercostal artery. And the artery, we have like 2 types of arteries. One is anterior, another one is the posterior. There will be an anterior intercostal artery, and then there will be a posterior intercostal artery. And corresponding to that, similarly, you will also have anterior intercostal vein and the posterior intercostal vein also, guys. Anterior intercostal vein and the posterior intercostal vein. Agar artery hoga, to vein bhi hoga. Common sense. Guys, listen to this orientation carefully here. Okay, this is important. But out of the two of them, that is anterior and the posterior intercostal vein, we are not going to learn about the anterior one. Hum nahi padhenge. Sir, why are we not learning about the anterior intercostal vein? Why? Why? Because it's exactly similar to that of your artery. The anterior intercostal vein is exactly similar to that of your anterior intercostal artery. What is similar in that one, sir? Let us see now. If there's an artery present, over there, and that artery will keep on giving the branches. And in the vein, you just have to do it opposite of that one, ulta. Shall we try? Let us just do the opposite of that one, sir. Let us try now. There will be a musculophrenic vein here, and there will be a superior epigastric vein. Musculophrenic vein and the superior epigastric vein. Both of them will combine together to form your internal thoracic vein. Are you ready? So in artery, we have, we kept on learning about the branches, but in the vein, we are going to learn opposite the tributaries. Are you understanding your point here? So 7th, 8th, and 9th, anterior intercostal vein will drain into musculophrenic vein. Musculophrenic vein will combine with superior epigastric vein. Together, they are going to form internal thoracic vein, and then blah 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 blah. Understanding here? So as arteries, similarly will be the vein in the anterior. इसलिए anterior वाला पढ़ने का जरूरत नहीं है. No need to learn about the anterior one, and the exam will not even ask you the questions regarding that one. The only thing that you got to learn is about the posterior intercostal veins. And in the diagram on the screen there, it's your posterior intercostal veins on one side here, that's your right side, and the posterior intercostal veins towards the other side, that's your left side, sir. And this you have to learn perfectly. There's a hot favorite topic of your examiner. Why? Because here you're going to learn about azygos, hemiazygos, and everything, guys. यहीं पर आप पढ़ोगे सबके बारे में. Are you ready? So better you just modify the heading there as posterior intercostal vein. Now to learn about the posterior intercostal vein, first of all, let us make the platform ready. Imagine this one will be your right brachiocephalic vein, and this will be the left brachiocephalic vein. And right and left brachiocephalic vein, both of them will combine together to form your superior vena cava. So this one will be the right brachiocephalic vein, and this will be the left brachiocephalic vein. BC stands for brachiocephalic. Both of them will combine together to form superior vena cava. And somewhere here below, you'll be having your inferior vena cava, and both of them, the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, they are going to drain the blood into your right atrium of your heart. Not required right now. There's not a topic. So, मान लो कि यहाँ पर heart है. ठीक है? Apart from that, there will be one more vein to introduce here. There is your azygos vein. But before going ahead, I want to ask a question to you people, because in my classes, I'm not going to leave you people. I don't want to, leave you people here in my class here. Why? Because I want you all to be like interactive here. Suno dhyan se. I know the meaning of superior vena cava. I can understand the meaning of inferior vena cava. Superior from upper half of the body, inferior from the lower half of the body. It makes sense. Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of azygos? Azygos का मतलब क्या होता है? Oh, welcome, Namira Cartoon. Azygos means what? Yes, unpaired, single. Acha. It means that we only have one azygos vein, unpaired. So can you please tell me where do you have that one, guys? That unpaired or single azygos vein, वो कहाँ पर है? Is it towards the right side of the body or towards the left side of the body? That unpaired azygos vein is towards the right or left? Right. Very good, Dr. Priya. It is towards the right here. Okay. Imagine this one is your azygos vein going up, and then draining the blood here. Oh. So from our diagram, we can understand that azygos vein is single unpaired, and that too towards the right side, and that too we can even understand it's going and draining the blood into superior vena cava. Azygos vein will drain the blood into superior vena cava. Perfect. Now, what is our topic here? Our topic is about the posterior intercostal veins. And first, I'll teach you about the posterior intercostal veins on the right side, and then I'll teach you on the left side, sir. First, right side. And again, in the vein, what do you have to learn, guys? Always in the vein, you have to learn. Okay, it will go and drain the blood where it is a tributary of which one. Artery में हमको हमेशा क्या पढ़ना होता है? It's like basics, guys. First year MBBS basics. In artery, always we need to learn about the branches given by the artery. But in the vein, we got to learn about it's going to drain where. ये कहाँ पर जाकर drain होगी? So on the right side, welcome. The first posterior intercostal vein, the first vein, will actually go and drain into the right brachiocephalic vein. Awesome. The second, and then the third, and the fourth vein on the right side. These three of them will combine together to form a common vein, and that will drain into the azygous vein here. Now, what is the name of this common vein here? So that one will be your superior intercostal vein. Which superior intercostal vein, sir? Right one. So that is your right superior intercostal vein. Right superior intercostal vein, guys. So on the right side, the posterior intercostal veins, the first one will drain into right brachiocephalic. Second, third, and fourth one will combine together to form right superior intercostal vein. That will drain into azygous only. इसके बाद आपको पढ़ने का जरूरत नहीं है. No need to learn after that. Remaining all the veins, the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, blah blah blah, जितने भी बाकी है, how many ever are remaining? They're all going to drain the blood into azygous. Wow. So don't try to rush in this topic, sir. आराम से पढ़ो this topic. You learn it very coolly here. It's very easy topic, sir. Right side completed. Now we'll come towards the left side. Extremely important. Towards the left side is very much important here. Questions will come from here only, sir. On the left side, again the same thing. The first vein will actually drain into the left brachiocephalic. It is similar only. The first one will drain into the brachiocephalic, left brachiocephalic. Now starts the confusion. Second vein and the third vein and the fourth vein, all the three of them will combine together to again form which vein only, sir? Of course, superior intercostal vein only. Which one? Left one. But panga, what is the problem? On right side, the right one will go and drain into azygous. But you people only told me, okay, azygous vein will be unpaired. It is single. That is only on the right side. We don't have azygous vein on the left side here. So left wala kahan drain hoga? That's the question. And this question has been asked in every exam, sir. Every exam I'm telling you. In your MCA exam, in your NEET PG exam, AIMS exam, so recently this question was asked. In the AIMS exam, this question was asked very recently only. Left superior intercostal vein kahan par drain hoga? Remember, the left superior intercostal vein will drain into left brachiocephalic only. That should be like printed in your mind. Left superior intercostal vein will go and drain into left brachiocephalic only. Why? Because there is no azygous on the left side. Azygous is only on the right side there. Okay, बढ़िया. That's something important to learn. So after that, what about the remaining veins, sir? The fifth, sixth, seventh, and all those things. So remember, remaining almost like 4 veins will drain into the accessory hemiazygous vein. And in my diagram, you can clearly see there, the accessory hemiazygous vein is crossing on the other side and it is going to drain the blood into azygous vein. And the remaining like almost 4 veins will also drain the blood into one more vein, and that will be, of course, your favorite one, hemiazygous vein. And that hemiazygous vein, again, same thing, there is also crossing on the other side and it will also go and drain into azygous only. Yes, Priya. Yes, of course. So both your accessory hemiazygous as well as hemiazygous vein are crossing on the other side and draining the blood into azygous vein. Wow. So such a complicated diagram here. Such a complicated diagram here, guys. And that diagram is made simple here. Crystal clear concept here. If you just see this one diagram here, you are done. No one can confuse you. समझ में आ रहा है बच्चों? Are you done? Are you all done? चलिए बढ़िया सर. ठीक है. So I think now तो you will completely agree with me. Is it like really possible to learn these things in the paragraph? पागल हो जाओगे आप लोग ना. You will actually go mad. Understanding? So you cannot learn that in the form of paragraph and all those things. The best way, practice this diagram. So after the class, you are going to take a rough paper pen and practice this diagram. Everything will come easy. Dr. Pal is writing something 2, 3, 4 first forms right superior intercostal vein, then drains into the azygous, not directly into the azygous. Yes, of course. Yes, of course, Dr. Pal, you are understanding correctly. Yes, Ritesh Kumar, again there will be like 11 because we are dealing with the posterior one only. The posterior one will be again 11 pairs only. Okay, fine. Any more doubts? Come on, my dear friends. Any more doubts? हाँ, you actually don't have to worry about these numbers, Ritesh. आपको ना ये numbers जरूरत नहीं है. You don't have to worry about these numbers here. You don't have to worry about these numbers here, guys. I'm telling you, they will never ever ask you this one here. ठीक है? Okay, बेटा. तो चलिए सर एक बार start करते हैं फिर से. Okay, चलिए सर. On special request by Dr. Pal, एक बार फिर से repeat करते हैं. And it's even worth repeating also. I also agree with that one. तो चलिए एक बार completely repeat करते हैं. What is the topic that we are learning here? We are learning about intercostal veins. And in intercostal veins, we'll be having anterior as well as posterior. Out of these two, anterior intercostal veins, we are not learning because it is similar to the arteries, which we have learned in the last topic only. So keep it very clear in your mind. We are learning only and only about the posterior intercostal veins. Why? Because here you have got your entire azygous system, posterior intercostal veins. In the posterior intercostal veins, we'll be having the veins on the right side as well as towards the left side also is. And it's all about the number game. On the right side, the first vein will drain into right brachiocephalic. The second, third, and the fourth will combine together to form right superior intercostal vein that will drain into azygous. Draining is important. They'll ask you that one in the exams. Azygous. Remaining all the veins will drain into azygous only. That's all. So just you have to remember the first one, and then second, third, and the fourth one. That's all. Okay, right side, clear. On the left side, what is happening? The first one is again draining where only, sir? Into the left brachiocephalic only. Whereas the second, third, and the fourth, they will combine together to form left superior intercostal vein. Because there is no azygos on the left side, that will be draining into left brachiocephalic vein. And this is extremely important. Put star mark there. It has been recently asked in the AIMS exam also, and it was a straightforward question. No twist, nothing. Left brachiocephalic vein, no drain hota hai. Straightforward question, sir. Left superior intercostal vein will drain where? It will be draining into left brachiocephalic vein. Done. And then, my dear friends, remember accessory hemiazygous. Remaining, 4 veins will drain into accessory hemiazygous one, and remaining veins will drain into hemiazygous. Both of them are crossing and draining the blood into azygous one. So that is how simple the concept is. Okay, Dr. Pal, are you happy now? So I will tell you why am I teaching you in so much of depth here for your MCI exam. Why am I going in so much of depth? Why? Because some people will be learning this topic for the very first time in their life, and they'll be thinking like Dr. Azam has gone mad. He's teaching in so much of depth. Will they ask all these things in the MCI exam? Will they ask? Nahi hai. Already they have asked in the exam. Already they have asked in the exam. That too in a very khatarnak manner, so dangerous manner. Hemiazygous vein will drain the blood into azygous. Accessory hemiazygous will drain the blood into azygous, and then right superior intercostal vein will also drain the blood into azygous. And after my class today, go back and check your previous year questions of MCI. They've asked the question, all the following veins will drain into azygous vein, except one. All the following veins are going to drain into azygous only, except one. Except which one, sir? Except the left superior intercostal vein. It is not going to drain into azygous. Already this question is given in your exam. You can check that after my class today. Are you understanding? And to answer that one question, you should know this entire concept. To answer that one question, you have to know this entire concept here. So, then only you'll be able to answer that, guys. Is it clear now? Dr. Pal, is it clear now? Crystal clear, guys? Lovely, lovely. That's awesome. That's good. Chaliye, sir, badhiya. Now, after completing this, I hope still you people are along with me. We are done with the intercostal vein here, class. We are done with the intercostal artery here, class. Now, what is the only thing left out? We are left out with the intercostal nerve. Let us take a new slide. Heading likho, sir. Intercostal nerve. And in this, I'm not going to torture you. Just tell me which are typical intercostal nerves. Can anyone tell me which one is the typical intercostal nerve? Typical intercostal nerve, kaun sa wala hota hai, sir? Typical intercostal nerves will be your T3 and then T4 and then T5 and then T6. These will be the typical intercostal nerves. T3, T4, T5 and T6. So by the way, what is the meaning of typical? Can anyone tell me? Sir, you told me the example, well and good. Typical will be like T3, T4 and T5 and T6. But what is the meaning? What is the meaning of typical? Remember, typical intercostal nerve means it should supply only and only to the intercostal space. Typical means it should supply only to the intercostal space, guys. That's all, nothing else. Sir, what do you mean by that? I'll give you one example. Just few days back, I taught you the upper limb topic. And in the upper limb topic, I taught you the very first topic is brachial plexus. Can anyone recall and tell me what is the origin of brachial plexus? Come on. What is the origin of brachial plexus? What will be the origin of brachial plexus? Very good. The brachial plexus will be originating from C5 to T1. So somewhere here C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1. Now you people concentrate on T1. T1 will be actually supplying to the first intercostal space. And not only supplying to the first intercostal space, that T1 is also contributing to brachial plexus. Can I call it as typical? No. No, sir, I can't call it as typical. Why? Because typical, anti-anti, what is the meaning of typical? Typical means it should supply only to intercostal space, nothing else. But that waste fellow, T1, it is supplying to the intercostal space, the first intercostal space, as well as brachial plexus also. So it is not a typical intercostal nerve. So these are your typical intercostal nerves, sir. T3, T4, T5, and T6. They're all supplying only to the intercostal space. Supplies only to the intercostal space. You can make a note of that. That's all. That's all, guys. And that completes one very, very big topic there. That is about the artery, vein, and the nerve. Artery, vein, and the nerve. Okay, bacho, are you all done? I don't know whether you people are still with my planning. When I started the class today, I told you very, very clearly what is our planning. First, we are going to learn the thoracic wall. Sternum, class. Vertebrae, done. The ribs, class. In between the ribs, intercostal space, done. Inside that intercostal space, intercostal artery, vein, and the nerve, done. I think you are completely following like a slowly. So slowly, we went in depth, and in depth. When I was starting the kata, okay, when I started slowly from sternum and the total number of ribs are 12 pairs, you might be thinking very simple. So slowly, topic आगे बढ़ते जाएगा और complicated होता जाएगा. So I think it's crystal clear. We are done with the thoracic wall. Thoracic wall completed. And now we have to enter inside. Inside we have to learn about two organs. One is your heart, another one is your lungs. But before going ahead, I'll give you 1 minute of time. Please revise and tell me. Okay, yes, guys. Any doubts here? No. Dr. Pal, every intercostal space will have like one nerve there. There'll be T1, then T2, then T3, then T4, then T5, up to T12 will be there. Out of them, T3, T4, T5, and T6 will be supplying only to intercostal space. It will supply only to intercostal space, and these type of nerves are known as typical intercostal nerve. Are you understanding? So what is the meaning of typical intercostal nerve? The nerve which supplies only to intercostal space, nothing else. I gave you one example to understand there. I gave you the example of T1. Why T1 is not typical? Why? Because it is supplying to first intercostal space. Along with the first intercostal space, it will also supply to brachial plexus. So now you only tell me, is it like a typical one? No, sir, it is not a typical one. Similarly, T2 will be supplying to second intercostal space, of course. And apart from second intercostal space, T2 will also supply to the skin of the arm here. Okay, skin of the arm. Okay, यहाँ पर supply करता है. So because it supplying to the skin of the arm there, it is not typical. So they are supplying to some of the other thing also, which are not typical. Typical means it should supply only to that particular intercostal space only. Chalo guys, any more doubts? Any more doubts? Well and good. Chalo, no more doubts now. So by this, according to our planning, we are done with the thoracic wall. तो चलिए sir enter होते हैं. And now first we are going to start with our heart. सबसे पहले हम लोग ना heart के बारे में start करेंगे. We are going to begin with our heart. Okay बच्चों, we are going to begin with our heart here. And in whatever time left out, guys, I'll tell you all the topics, some like small simple topics about the heart, which are important, and then we'll go in depth with the remaining topics in our next classes here. Okay? So we are left out with somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes here. Listen here. And as usual, our old habit, whenever we start with any topic, we are going to begin the topic from the scratch. Okay? So even the heart wala topic also, I'm going to begin from the scratch. Okay? So chaliye sir, let's start with the covering of the heart now. Can anyone tell me, guys, our heart is covered by what? भाई तुम लोग ना बहुत silently पढ़ते हो यार. Our heart is covered by what, guys? Our heart is covered by pericardium. Yes, everyone knows that. Can you please tell me pericardium is made up of how many layers? I want that one. How many layers do you have in pericardium? Priya is telling 3 layers. Gopika is telling 3 layers. What about the other? What about the other people? Remember, pericardium has got in total 3 layers. Sir, how come 3 layers? Welcome. The outermost layer of the pericardium will be fibrous pericardium, and the inner layer of the pericardium will be serous pericardium. The outer layer of the pericardium will be fibrous, inner layer of the pericardium will be the serous pericardium. And that serous pericardium is again in turn divided into 2 layers. The outer one will be the parietal serous, inner one will be the visceral serous. Understanding here? So pericardium is divided into how many layers? 3 layers. The outermost one will be the fibrous pericardium, the inner one will be serous pericardium. Serous pericardium is in turn divided into parietal serous, another one is visceral serous pericardium, guys. Okay. Now, I'm not going to give you the notes in the form of like paragraph. I'll give you like simple notes here like this. And these kind of tables you are going to read it from below. Come on. What's the complete name? The outermost layer of the pericardium will be the fibrous pericardium. Just inside the fibrous pericardium will be having parietal serous pericardium. You are going to read it completely like that from below. Parietal serous pericardium. And then inside that will be having one more layer, third one, visceral serous pericardium. Visceral serous pericardium. So this is how you are going to read my tables here. Okay? And I'm not going to leave you here. So चलिए थोड़ा सा और depth में जाते हैं. Let us draw a diagram for this one. Diagram तो जरूरी है. Our anatomy cannot be completed without diagram. Diagram is chala important. तो बच्चों मान लो कि this one is our romantic heart. That is the simplest diagram of the heart possible. So this is our heart here, and our heart is divided into 4 chambers like this, the atrium and the ventricle. And our heart is actually covered by layer, and that layer is known as what, guys? Pericardium. मान लो कि that is pericardium. Okay? Don't worry. Within few minutes, I'll make you learn the exact diagram of the heart also. Exact वाला भी मैं पढ़ाऊंगा. I'll teach you that one. But for now, you just imagine this is our heart. Now in our heart, my dear friends, let us take a small part of the heart outside. थोड़ा सा इसको ना बाहर निकालते हैं. Let's zoom that. जब आप इसको zoom करोगे, when you're going to zoom that, yes, my dear friends, welcome. This will be the wall of the heart. That red colored line is actually the wall of the heart. And our wall of the heart is actually covered by pericardium. The outermost layer of the pericardium will be the fibrous pericardium. The outermost layer of the pericardium will be the fibrous pericardium. Just inside the fibrous pericardium, you'll be having a serous pericardium. Just inside that fibrous pericardium, there'll be serous. And this one will be the parietal serous pericardium. That is your parietal serous pericardium. And then in my diagram, you can clearly appreciate there that parietal serous pericardium is closely attached to the fibrous pericardium. It's very closely attached to the fibrous pericardium. No space between them. Similarly, my dear friends, remember, there'll be one more layer here inside. That is your visceral serous pericardium. Visceral serous pericardium. And that is very closely attached to the wall of the heart. That is closely attached to the wall of the heart. Well, there are 3 layers in pericardium. Now you might be thinking, why is Dr. Azam going in so much of depth? Yes, why? Because I want you to learn the arrangement here. And look at the arrangement and tell me, where exactly do you have the pericardial cavity? Pericardial cavity exactly कहाँ पर होता है? No, pericardial fluid नहीं, Priya, pericardial cavity कहाँ है? Where is pericardial cavity? हाँ, between which 2 layers? In between the parietal serous and visceral serous. Yes, here you'll be having the pericardial cavity. That's important. There are actually 3 layers, na? So is it between the fibrous and serous, or the 2 layers of serous? So you should have a clarity here. That pericardial cavity is between the parietal serous and the visceral serous pericardium. And in this pericardial cavity, you'll be having fluid here, and that fluid is referred to as pericardial fluid. And yes, in your MC exam already the question has been asked, in total how much will be the normal pericardial fluid? Normally pericardial fluid कितना होता है? Remember, the normal pericardial fluid will be like 50 ml, 50. Pericardial fluid will be 50 ml. Already this has been asked in the FMG exam. Are you all clear? Okay, bachcho, I think now this topic is done and done, guys. So it's a simple topic here. Heart is covered with pericardium, and pericardium has got like 3 layers. And the 3 layers, their arrangement is important. They are arranged in this manner. But yeah, well and good. Now after completing this topic here, hello my dear doctors, Can you please tell me what is forming the apex of the heart, sir? तो चलिए आपको एक और टॉपिक हम लोग आसान बनाते हैं. The students who are attending the class for the first time today, they might be thinking, "Arey, arey, arey, this fellow came and he's like from 1:30 onwards, one by one, he's going on telling. It's like bombardment of the knowledge." The people who are attending the class for the first time on an academy platform with me, guys, are you all understanding? Some people told me in the beginning that they are attending for the first time. Are you all understanding? Shipal is okay. He's telling, no, you're not understanding. Good. That is good. चलो बढ़िया 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 चलिए सर बढ़िया. Now can anyone tell me what is forming the apex of the heart? I'll teach you like one more important thing. Your MC examiner will be asking a lot of times, sir. The apex of the heart, the base of the heart, all those types of questions will come in the exam. So can anyone tell me what is forming the apex of the heart? Apex is formed by left ventricle. Okay. What about the base of the heart, sir? Base of the heart is formed by. Sure, apex people are absolutely right, no problem. What is forming the base of the heart? Arey baap re. Arey baap re. Arey re 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 re. Start it again, huh? Arey re 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 re. No. It is actually the 14th December wala batch. We started from 14th December. It is not 23rd December wala batch. हाँ जी. चलिए मैं आपको बताता हूँ. मुझे समझ में आ चुका है. I understood where to start now. From where I have to start now. Listen to me here, guys. Everyone here, guys. Forget about apex. Forget about the base and everything. Can you just tell me? Hello, my dear friends. Can you people just tell me one thing? Can you just tell me one thing? What is the shape of the heart, sir? What will be the shape of the heart? ऐसे बनता है ना ऐसे. Very good. Our heart will be actually cone shaped. So if your heart is like a cone shaped here, it should be something like this, है ना? ये वाला आपका heart होना चाहिए ऐसे cone shaped. So there'll be an apex here, there'll be a base here, and then there'll be two sides here. Heart is like a cone. But how exactly it is placed inside of a body? Remember, inside of a body, our heart is like a fallen cone on one of its side. Remember this golden rule there. Our heart is like a fallen cone on one of its side. So when this cone is fallen like this, apex will be here, and the base will be actually here. This is the problem with many students. Many students will be thinking, okay, this is the base of the heart. Like this is the base of the heart here. No. It is not at all the base of the heart here. Okay, the base of the heart is over here. So if the cone falls here like this, that is the apex here, and this will be the base, and this is just the inferior surface here, and this will be the lateral surface of the heart, guys. Are you understanding the kahani here? So our heart, you have to just remember one statement in English. It's like a fallen cone on one of its side. Our heart is like a fallen cone on one of its side. It's like a fallen cone on one of its side. Okay, so chaliye start drawing the diagram along with me. Superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Okay. And imagine this one is your heart here, like a fallen cone. Superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava, both of them are going to drain the blood into right atrium. From the right atrium, they are going to drain the blood into right ventricle. Where do you have left ventricle? Behind that, uske piche. If you make a simple diagram like this, you will never ever make a mistake in your lifetime. आप जिंदगी में यहाँ पर मिस्टेक नहीं करोगे. Just a simple diagram. Promise me you're going to practice this after the class. After the class, आप लोग इसको practice करोगे. Look at this diagram and tell me what is forming the apex of the heart. Apex of the heart is formed by left ventricle. Where do you have the apex of the heart? It will be in the left fifth intercostal space. What is the location? The apex of the heart is in the left side, fifth intercostal space. And remember, it is 9 centimeters away from sternum. It's 9 centimeters away from the sternum, guys. We all know that our heart is not exactly in the middle of the body. It is not symmetrical in the middle of the body. So apex of the heart is formed by left ventricle, and that will be like in the left fifth intercostal space, 9 centimeters away from the sternum, guys. 9 centimeters away from the sternum. That is about the apex. Then this here is going to form the base of the heart. And remember, base of the heart is formed by right atrium, and not only right atrium, even the left atrium that is present behind that one. Be very careful with the English here, guys. Am I asking you the border? For example, if this is your heart which is fallen down here. Am I asking you just the border, right border? No, I'm not asking you border. I'm asking you complete surface, the base of the heart. If I'm asking complete base of the heart, it is made up of right atrium in the front and the left atrium behind, together forming the base. Be very careful with English here. I'm not asking you the border. I'm asking you the complete base, guys. So complete base is actually formed by the right atrium as well as the left atrium. Now in the exam, suppose if they give you the option, both options are given. Base of the heart is formed by. They'll give you like both options in the exam. So base of the heart is formed by right atrium, first option, and the left atrium, the second option. So अब आप बताओ क्या लगाओगे? What will you mark the answer as? Remember, out of these two, the right atrium will be contributing 1/3, whereas the left atrium will be contributing the 2/3. So therefore, अगर दोनों option दिया जाएगा, if both option will give you, better option will be left atrium. Understanding here? Left atrium is contributing more, 2/3. If both options are given in the exam, yes, you mark the answer as left atrium already given in the exam. Thank God, sir. Apex हो गया, base हो गया. After that, it is like easy. What is forming the inferior surface here? Inferior surface of the heart is formed by little bit. It is contributed by the right atrium, and then it is also contributed by the right ventricle, and then it is also contributed a little bit by your left ventricle. Sir. Easy. And similarly, what is forming the lateral surface of the heart? The lateral surface of the heart is contributed by left ventricle. Along with the left ventricle, here there will be a ear-like projection, ear-like, which is known as auricle. And which auricle do you have there? It will be your left auricle, guys. Left auricle. So there will be a left ventricle along with left auricle there, guys. And now come the hot favorite question about the border. Right border of the heart is formed by. Right border of the heart will be actually formed by your right atrium. Right border of the heart is actually formed by right atrium. Only the right atrium. Border. And to give you clarity here, one more important question possible here is what is forming the right cardiac shadow? In one of the MCA exam, recently only, sir, last year only, 2019. In 2019, in one of the MCA exam, what has happened is that okay, they have given a chest X-ray, and in the chest X-ray, what is forming the right cardiac shadow? Right cardiac shadow क्या form करता है? So my dear doctors, remember that the right cardiac shadow is completely formed by superior vena cava, as well as the inferior vena cava, as well as the right atrium. All the three of them together are forming the right cardiac shadow. So students love to remember that with the mnemonic as SIR, sir. Superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, and the right atrium. So you should have a clarity what they're asking in the exam, whether they're just asking the right border of the heart or right cardiac shadow. Right border of the heart is formed by right atrium, whereas the right cardiac shadow is formed by all the three of them. SIR, superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, as well as the right atrium of the heart, guys. Okay, but yeah, I hope it is very, very clear to you here. Very clear to you. Awesome. Okay, so we are done with the apex of the heart here. We are done with the base of the heart here. We are done with the inferior surface of the heart here, and the lateral surface of the heart, and of course the right border and the right cardiac shadow. It is just looking like one single diagram here, but my dear friends, believe me, many questions will come from there. In fact, if you write it and just mug up there right, left, anterior, posterior, ventricle, atrium, you'll be gone. Just 5 minutes back, the kind of answers we are getting actually, the students will be getting confused with right, left, the atria, and the ventricle. So please, the best way to learn is this diagram here, sir. I'll show you here. Come on, guys. In this diagram, come on, tell me. You can clearly see here this is superior vena cava, and this one is inferior vena cava, and these two are going to drain the blood into right atrium. This is your right ventricle here. Behind the right ventricle, this one is your left ventricle here. Chalo. So this is the apex of the heart here. Who is going to form the apex here? That is your left ventricle. Who is going to form the base of the heart here, guys? Base is formed by both the right atrium in the front and the left atrium behind. Kya baat hai? And you yourself can appreciate the inferior surface here, sir. Inferior surface is formed by partly right atrium and then right ventricle and partly by left ventricle. What about the lateral surface here, sir? Oh, kya baat hai? It is formed by left ventricle, of course. And can you see this ear-like projection here? And that is your auricle, and that will be left auricle, guys. Okay. And then of course the right border of the heart is formed by right atrium, whereas right cardiac shadow is completely formed by superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, and the right atrium, guys. Are you getting clarity? So exactly the same diagram, just this textbook diagram I have simplified here with our diagram, our line diagram here, sir. So you have practice karoge, everything will become easy in your life. Okay, sir? So that's all. So we are now done with the thoracic wall, and along with the thoracic wall we entered inside, and inside we started with the heart topic, and the heart topic we are done with the pericardium covering the heart, and the positioning of the heart is done, guys. And then in our next class of thorax topic, whenever we have, we'll directly start with the blood supply to your heart, sir. Coronary circulation, and then venous drainage of the heart, and we are going to learn the internal structure of the heart, sir, right atrium and left atrium. And of course along with that we are even going to learn about the lungs in detail, sir. That we'll do in our next session of the thorax. Okay. So hope you are done with this one. So we have to actually stop here. Any doubts, please let me know. Otherwise, half an hour of the break, and after that we are going to meet again at 4 p.m. At 4 p.m. I'm going to start again neuroanatomy, and I hope now you have understood my style of teaching here. Neuroanatomy also, I'm going to start from the scratch. Brain, spinal cord, the name of that. Slowly we'll go to the higher concepts. Okay. So that's all about this topic here, sir. Any doubts, let me know, guys. Welcome everyone. Okay, Ritesh. Anyone has got any doubt, you can openly ask me here. We'll have to do, I think, some more time. Half a minute of time. Clear. And especially those people who are attending for the first time here. I don't know how you're liking the Unacademy platform. Lower limb topic is almost done. We were doing in the last session, only last half an hour or 45 minutes. Topic was left out in the lower limb, but there was some power cut and all issues. So we are just left out with one session in the lower limb, hardly for 1 hour. No, not at all. Thorax is not completed, Dr. Pal. Thorax is not at all completed. We are having still, I think, 2 more sessions left out. I think that is scheduled tomorrow, whatever. We'll do that. We still have the classes left out for the thorax topic. Clear? So take a break for half an hour, drink some tea, coffee, everything. Be ready. We'll start with neuroanatomy, sir. Okay, bye-bye.